The morning air on Zarian Prime felt heavy with danger as Lirelei Moonwhisper walked through the ancient forest. The tall elf ranger had lived for 300 years, but she had never seen anything like what lay before her in the clearing. A massive direwolf stretched across the ground. Its body was the size of a small building, and its fangs were longer than Lirelei herself. The creature should have been impossible to kill. Yet there it was, dead with wounds that made no sense. Lirelei knelt beside the beast and examined the cuts. Clean, precise lines ran across its thick hide. These were not claw marks or bite wounds. The edges were too smooth to perfect. Something had sliced through the dire wolf, like it was made of soft butter. Her fellow elves gathered around the corpse. Their faces showed the same confusion and fear that Lirelei felt. Talion Starweaver shook his head slowly as he studied the wounds. "We have hunted these beasts for centuries," Talion said. His voice carried the weight of someone who had seen too much. "Nothing in this forest can kill a dire wolf like this." The other elves murmured their agreement. Dire wolves were apex predators on Zarian Prime. They could tear through metal with their claws, and their hide was thick enough to stop most weapons. The creature lying before them should have been unstoppable. Lirelei stood and looked around the clearing. Blood stained the grass, but there were no signs of a struggle, no broken trees or torn earth. The direwolf had simply been killed where it stood. She activated her communication device and sent a distress signal into space. The Elvish outpost needed help with this mystery. Something new and dangerous was loose on their world. Captain Maya Rodriguez received the distress call while her ship orbited the moon. Her human crew had been exploring this sector for months, but they had never heard of anything that could threaten the elves. Maya was a seasoned explorer who had seen strange things across the galaxy, but the fear in the Elvish transmission made her take notice. These were not people who scared Isla. "Take us down to the surface," Maya ordered her pilot. The ship descended through the atmosphere toward the Elvish coordinates. Dr. Lisa Chen studied her scanner readings as they approached the landing site. She was the chief science officer, and her instruments were picking up unusual energy signatures. "Something big happened down there," Lisa reported to Maya. "The bio readings are all wrong." For this area, Commander Kate Sullivan checked her weapons systems. The security chief always prepared for the worst. Her military training had taught her to expect trouble when distress calls came from peaceful worlds. The human ship landed near the Elvish outpost. Maya and her team stepped out to find elves and aliens waiting for them. The Catherian population had gathered as well. Their crystalline bodies glowed with nervous energy. Zarathal, the Catherian matriarch, approached the humans. Her form shifted colors as she moved, showing her emotional state. The normally calm alien leader looked deeply troubled. "Something hunts the great beasts," Zarathal said in her musical voice. Her words carried harmonics that made the humans feel uneasy. "We have found many dead across the moon." Maya looked between the elves and Catherians. Both species were known for their wisdom and caution. If they were afraid, then the threat was real. "Show us what you found," Maya said. The group walked to the dire wolf corpse. Maya had seen pictures of these creatures, but nothing prepared her for the reality. The beast was enormous and clearly built for killing, yet something had ended its life with surgical precision. Dr. Amanda Foster knelt beside the wounds and took readings with her instruments. The xenobiologist specialized in alien life forms, but these injuries puzzled her. "The cuts go completely through the hide," she reported. "They are perfectly straight and show no tearing. The weapon that made these wounds was incredibly sharp." Commander Kate examined the scene with military eyes. She looked for tactical signs that might reveal the attacker, but the area showed no evidence of combat. "Whatever did this was fast," Kate said. "There should be defensive wounds or signs that the wolf fought back. Instead, it looks like the creature was killed instantly." More reports came in throughout the day. Farmers from across the moon contacted the outpost. Giant rock bears had been found dead in the mountains. Armored salamanders lay sliced apart in the swamps. Even a juvenile mountain titan had been discovered with the same precise wounds. Each report followed the same pattern. Large predatory creatures killed with clean cuts, no signs of struggle, no witnesses. Nothing left behind by the attacker. Lisa Chen compiled the data and found disturbing trends. The killings had been happening for weeks, but no one had connected them until now. The pattern showed systematic hunting of the largest and most dangerous creatures on Zarian Prime. Called a meeting of all 3 species representatives from each group gathered in the Elvish outpost. The mood was tense as they shared information. The killer targets only apex predators, Maya observed after reviewing the reports. Herbivores and smaller creatures remain untucked. Rayleigh nodded in agreement. Our scouts report that plant eaters graze peacefully, even in areas where great hunters have died. The balance of nature shifts, but not toward. Chowzarath changed colors as she processed this information. Our sensors detect no energy weapons, no explosives, no magical forces. Whatever kills these beasts uses methods unknown to our science. The 3 species had different theories about the threat. The elves suspected some ancient magic had awakened. The Catharians wondered if an unknown alien species had arrived. The humans considered the possibility of advanced technology. Amanda Foster raised a troubling question. What if the killings are not random? What if something is deliberately reshaping the ecosystem of this moon? The idea sent chills through the assembled group. Zarian Prime had a delicate balance between its many species. If something was removing apex predators, the entire food chain would change. Commander Kate proposed increased patrols and surveillance. The 3 species agreed to work together despite their different approaches to the problem. Security teams would monitor known predator territories while scientists studied the evidence. As night fell, the groups prepared for a long investigation. None of them realized they were dealing with something far beyond their understanding. The truth would shock them all when it finally emerged. The killer continued its work in the darkness, moving with purpose and precision. Soon every dangerous predator on Zarian Prime would be eliminated, and the moon would be safe for those who could not defend themselves against such threats. Dr. Amanda Foster worked through the night studying tissue samples from the dead creatures. Her laboratory in the human ship buzzed with activity as she ran test after test. The results made no sense according to everything she knew about weapons and biology. The cuts were made by something moving at incredible speed. Amanda reported to Captain Maya. The edges show molecular separation rather than tearing. Whatever made these wounds was sharper than any blade we know. Maya studied the data on her screen. The readings showed impossible precision and speed. No known weapon could create such clean cuts through the thick hides of apex predators. Sergeant Nicole Barnes assembled a joint patrol team. She selected the best soldiers from all 3 species for the dangerous mission. They would monitor predator territories and try to catch the killer in Acmenthallion. Starweaver joined the patrol as the Elvish representative. His centuries of hunting experience made him valuable for tracking. In the dense forests, Velnara the Catharian warrior scientist brought advanced scanning equipment that could detect energy signatures invisible to other sensors. The patrol moved through the shadow valleys where dire wolves hunted. They set up hidden observation posts and waited for signs of activity. Their equipment monitored a wide area around known predator Denson. The second night their patience was rewarded. Sensors detected movement in the deepest part of the valley. Something massive was approaching through the darkness. The readings showed a creature larger than any dire wolf. Nicole activated her team communications. A shadow leviathan approaches the valley. These creatures are the size of city blocks and nearly indestructible. Team watched in amazement as the enormous beast emerged from underground caverns. Shadow leviathans were legendary creatures that could tunnel through solid rock. Their armored hides were thicker than starship hulls, and their claws could tear apart buildings. The leviathan moved toward a pack of dire wolves that had gathered near a stream. The wolves scattered, but the massive creature was not hunting them. Something else had drawn it to the surface. Suddenly, the air around the leviathan seemed to shimmer. Nicole adjusted her visual scanners, but could not get a clear reading on what was happening. The massive beast began to roar, but the sound cut off. Abrupt. Livelnara checked her instruments frantically. Something moves around the creature, but our sensors cannot track it. The speed exceeds our measurement capabilities. The patrol watched in horror as the shadow Leviathan began to fall apart. Precise cuts appeared across its body, as if invisible blades were carving it, like meat. The creature tried to defend itself, but its massive claws struck only empty air within. Minutes the legendary beast collapsed dead silent. The same clean wounds marked its body, where something had systematically dismantled it piece by piece. The alien stared at the scene with ancient eyes wide with shock. In 300 years I have never seen a shadow Leviathan killed. Nothing should be able to harm such a creature. The team approached the corpse carefully. Their scanners showed no lingering energy signatures and no signs of the attacker. The Leviathan had been killed by something that left no trace of its presence. Reports began flooding in from across Zarian Prime. Miners in the deep tunnels spoke of seeing a silver blur that moved too fast for their eyes to follow. The blur appeared whenever large predators threatened the mining operations. Farmers reported finding massive creatures dead in their fields overnight. Giant rock bears that had been alive at sunset were discovered sliced apart by morning. The precision of the kills amazed and terrified the farmers. Dr. Rachel Kim analyzed the behavioral patterns of the attacks. The human psychologists found disturbing intelligence behind the killings. The attacks showed planning and systematic elimination of specific targets. Whatever is doing this understands the ecosystem, Rachel reported to the command team. It targets only aggressive apex predators while leaving defensive herbivores completely alone. Admiral Rebecca Stone arrived with a full human fleet. The military leader had served in conflicts across the galaxy, but this situation puzzled her. An enemy that could kill shadow leviathans represented a threat beyond normal understanding. The Elvish High Council sent Arxage Whisperwind to investigate the crisis. The ancient elf possessed knowledge spanning millennia, but even she found no precedent for these events. The Catherian Collective dispatched their finest scientific minds to study the phenomenon there. Crystalline ships filled with sensors and analysis equipment arrived to support the investigation. Lisa Chen discovered a pattern in the timing of attacks. The killer struck at precise intervals and always chose targets that posed the greatest threat to smaller life forms. The mathematical precision suggested artificial intelligence or extremely advanced planning. Commander Kate Sullivan proposed a radical surveillance operation. Her plan involved deploying sensor networks across the entire moon to track movement patterns that might reveal the attacker. The three species worked together to implement the surveillance grid. Elvish magic users provided concealment for the sensors, while Catherian technology offered detection capabilities beyond human understanding. Lieutenant Colonel Jennifer Brooks suggested using themselves as bait. The military strategist proposed simulating distress signals in areas known to attract large predators. If their theory was correct, the mysterious killer would appear to eliminate any threats to the rescue teams. The plan was approved. Despite its obvious dangers, volunteer teams would position themselves in dangerous territories and wait for predators to investigate their presence. The hope was that their mysterious protector would reveal itself. Dr. Susan Walsh, the human botanist, made an important discovery. Plant life was already beginning to flourish in areas where major predators had been eliminated. Without the constant threat of massive hunters, smaller plants could grow and spread. The ecosystem is changing rapidly, Susan reported. Predator elimination is allowing unprecedented plant growth. The entire food chain is being restructured. Maya realized they were witnessing something unprecedented. The systematic removal of apex predators was not random violence, but deliberate ecosystem management on a planetary scale. The killer was not destroying life, but reshaping it. The massive predators that prevented colonization and farming were being eliminated, while creatures that posed no threat to settlements remained untouched. As the surveillance networks came online, the teams prepared for their dangerous bait mission. Soon they would discover that their mysterious protector was closer to human than they could ever imagine. The silver blur continued its work across Zarian Prime. Each night brought new reports of impossible kills and the systematic elimination of creatures that had terrorized the moon for centuries. The truth would soon emerge and change everything they thought they knew about survival and sacrifice. Dr. Rachel Kim stood before the assembled leaders with data that would change everything. The human behavioral analysts had spent days studying the attack patterns, and her conclusions challenged every assumption they had made about their mysterious killer. The elimination of apex predators follows a precise biological model. Rachel announced to the mixed group of humans, elves, and Catharians, "This is not random hunting, but calculated ecosystem." Engineering Admiral Rebecca Stone leaned forward. Across the conference table, engineering, "How can you be certain?" Rachel activated a holographic display, showing Zarian Prime with markers indicating each attack location. The pattern reveals systematic removal of species that prevent smaller life forms from thriving. Our killer is protecting the weak by eliminating their natural predator. Sarchage, Whisperwind, studied the display with ancient eyes that had seen the rise and fall of civilizations. Such intervention in natural order goes against everything we elves believe, yet the precision suggests intelligence and purpose. Beyond mere bloodlusts, Sarathal shifted through several color patterns as she processed this information. Her crystalline form reflected the lights in the room, creating rainbow patterns on the walls. The Catharian collective had debated this possibility, but found it difficult to accept. "Our sensors confirm the behavioral analysis," Zarathul said in her harmonic voice. "Predator territories are being cleared while herbivore populations remain completely undisturbed now." Amanda Foster added her xenobiological findings to the discussion. She had studied the ecological impact of the killings and found evidence supporting Rachel's theory. Plant diversity has increased by 40% in cleared areas, Amanda reported. Smaller animal populations are expanding rapidly without predation pressure. "We are witnessing accelerated ecological succession." Dr. Susan Walsh nodded enthusiastically as she shared her botanical data. The plant growth patterns were unlike anything in the scientific literature. Species that had been extinct for centuries were returning to areas where apex predators no longer hunted. Mountain meadows that were barren due to dire wolf presence now bloom with flowers, Susan explained. Fruit trees that could not mature are producing crops for the first time. "The agricultural potential of this moon is being unlocked." Lieutenant Colonel Jennifer Brooks studied tactical implications of the ecosystem changes. Her military mind focused on the strategic value of a world without dangerous predators. Moon without apex predators could support massive colonization efforts. Jennifer observed farming settlements, mining operations, and research facilities could operate without constant threat of attack. Captain Maya Rodriguez felt both amazement and unease at the implications. Someone or something was deliberately reshaping an entire world. The scale of the operation was beyond anything in human experience. Dr. Lisa Chen presented her analysis of the timeline and methodology behind the attacks. Her scientific approach revealed the careful planning behind each elimination. The killer has detailed knowledge of predator behavior and ecosystem dynamics. Lisa reported each target is selected for maximum impact on food chain restructuring. This requires years of study and preparation. Commander Kate Sullivan raised security concerns about their unknown benefactor. While the results appeared positive, the methods raised questions about the killer's ultimate goals. "We assume benevolent intent," Kate said, "but systematic elimination of apex predators could serve other purposes. What if this is preparation for invasion or colonization by an unknown species?" Lirale Moonwhisper spoke for her people with measured words. The Elvish Ranger had lived through many ecological changes, but nothing compared to the rapid transformation of Zarian Primar forests sing with new life where once only silence reigned from fear. Lirale said, "Yet we must ask ourselves if this gift comes with a price that has not yet been revealed." The team decided to implement their bait operation immediately. If their theory was correct, the mysterious killer would appear to protect them from any predators. Their distress signals attracted. Sergeant Nicole Barnes led the volunteer mission team to the most dangerous region of Zarian Prime. The Crimson Canyons were home to multiple apex predator species including the legendary hellhounds, The bait team positioned themselves in a valley known for hellhound activity. These creatures could breathe plasma hot enough to melt steel, and their pack-hunting tactics made them nearly impossible. To escape, Nicole activated a distress beacon that simulated a crashed ship with survivors. The signal would attract scavengers and predators from across the canyon system. The team prepared for a long-wait DR. Amanda Foster monitored biological readings. From the command post, her instruments detected movement throughout the canyon system as various creatures responded to the distress signal. Large predators are converging on your position, Amanda reported to the bait team hellhound pack, moving from the north. Giant rock bears approaching from the east. You have approximately 20 minutes before contact. Valnara fine-tuned her Catherian sensors to detect the slightest energy fluctuations. The warrior scientist hoped to finally capture readings from their mysterious protector. When Aravittalion prepared his elvish bow with arrows designed to penetrate even the thickest armor, the ancient ranger knew that if their theory was wrong, the bait team would face creatures capable of destroying their entire expedition. The first hellhounds appeared at the canyon rim. Their plasma breath created waves of heat that distorted the air. The pack began descending toward the bait team position with predatory patience. Commander, Kate monitored from orbit, ready to deploy emergency extraction if the mission went wrong. Her weapons systems were locked onto the area, though she knew conventional firepower would be useless against such massive creatures. As the hellhounds closed distance, the team prepared for either rescue or death. The distress beacon continued broadcasting while predators gathered for what should have been an easy kill. Suddenly, Valnara's sensors detected an energy signature, unlike anything in their databases. Something was approaching the area at speeds that defied physics. Movement detected, Valnara announced, her crystalline form brightened with excitement. Energy readings are off our scales. Something approaches at near light speed. The bait team held their positions. As hellhounds surrounded them, the pack leader raised its head to unleash plasma breath that would incinerate everything in the valley. Then, the silver blur appeared for the first time. Someone captured clear sensor readings of their mysterious protector. The data was impossible to believe, yet the instruments did not lie. Humanoid form, moving at relativistic speeds. Dr. Lisa Chen reported from her analysis station. Preliminary readings suggest cybernetic enhancement beyond known technology. The rescue they had hoped for was about to begin, but the truth of their protector would shock everyone involved. The killer was not an alien invader or ancient magic, but something far more incredible and terrifying. Human ingenuity, pushed beyond all reasonable limits, was about to reveal itself in the most dramatic way possible. The silver blur materialized in the center of the hellhound pack, and chaos erupted across the canyon valley. Sergeant Nicole Barnes watched in amazement as their mysterious protector finally revealed itself clearly. For the first time, the figure was humanoid, but moved with grace and speed that defied natural law. She flowed between the massive hellhounds like liquid mercury, avoiding their plasma breath with movements too fast for normal eyes to follow. Valnara checked her sensors frantically. As readings poured across her displays, the energy signatures were unlike anything in Catherian databases, but the basic form was unmistakably enhanced. Human female, the Catherian warrior scientist reported to the command team. Extensive modification detected throughout biological systems. Dr. Lisa Chen analyzed the sensor data from orbit and found readings that challenged everything she knew about human augmentation. The enhancement levels were beyond theoretical limits. Cybernetic integration exceeds 90%, Lisa announced to the stunned command team. Biological systems have been replaced or enhanced beyond recognition. The enhanced human moved with surgical precision. As she engaged the hellhound pack, her weapons appeared to cut through molecular bonds themselves, slicing through armored hide like it was paper. Commander Kate watched tactical displays showing the battle unfold in slow motion. Even reduced to a fraction of normal speed, the enhanced human moved faster than their systems could track single combatant, eliminating apex predator pack. Kate reported, her voice carried disbelief at what the sensors showed. Conventional tactics suggest this should be impossible. The first hellhound fell within seconds, its massive body separated cleanly through vital points. The pack leader roared and unleashed plasma breath hot enough to melt starship hulls. The enhanced human simply was not there when the plasma arrived. She appeared behind the pack leader and ended its life with movements too precise to be natural combat. Amanda Foster studied biological readings from the fallen hellhounds and found the same precise wounds that had marked every previous kill. The mystery killer had finally revealed herself. Wounds show identical characteristics to previous attacks. Amanda reported all cuts made with instruments capable of molecular separation. Within 30 seconds, the entire hellhound pack lay dead around the enhanced human. She stood motionless in the center of the carnage, and for the first time, seemed to notice the bait team sergeant. Nicole felt her breath catch as the figure approached. The enhanced human was clearly female, but her modifications made her appearance both beautiful and terrifying. Implants covered much of her exposed skin, creating patterns that seemed to shift and flow. Her eyes glowed with internal light, and her movements possessed an inhuman quality. Major Diana Cross, formerly of the UES Horizon Edge, the enhanced woman, said. Her voice carried harmonics that suggested vocal modifications. Sole survivor of deep space exploration mission crashed on Zarian Prime 2 years ago, Captain Maya Rodriguez felt shock ripple through the command structure. A human survivor on Zarian Prime seemed impossible. The harsh conditions and massive predators made long-term survival unlikely. Diana continued her introduction while the bait team slowly approached her. The enhancement modifications were extensive, but her basic humanity remained visible beneath the cybernetic improvements. Ship systems salvaged and integrated into biological matrix to ensure survival, Diana explained. Her words were precise, and clinical ecosystem management became necessary to establish safe colonization. Zone's Admiral Rebecca Stone requested immediate transport to the surface. The revelation that their mysterious protector was an enhanced human soldier changed everything about the situation. Rachel Kim analyzed the psychological implications of Diana's survival and transformation. The behavioral patterns now made complete sense as expressions of human protective instincts, enhanced beyond normal limits. Subject displays extreme protective behavior focused on eliminating threats to smaller life forms, Rachel reported. Classic human response to dangerous environment, amplified by technological enhancement. Chase Whisperwind felt ancient wisdom challenged by this revelation. Elvish understanding of natural order could not accommodate such radical intervention in ecological systems. Your transformation represents unprecedented fusion of biology and technology, the Elvish leader observed. Is this evolution or abandonment of natural human essence? Diana's response revealed the depth of her sacrifice and the price of survival on Zarian Prime. Her cybernetic modifications had been necessary, but came with costs. She could never reverse human essence preserved within enhanced matrix, Diana said. Her glowing eyes focused on each speaker. In turn, biological limitations removed to protect life that cannot protect itself. Thal shifted through color patterns that expressed confusion and fascination. The Catherian collective had never encountered such extensive human modification, while maintaining basic personality. Collective analysis suggests irreversible integration of human consciousness with artificial systems, Zarathal reported. You exist between biological and technological states. Lieutenant Colonel Jennifer Brooks approached Diana with military respect, recognizing the dedication and sacrifice required for such transformation. The enhanced human had become a weapon in service of protection. Major, your mission parameters appear to have evolved beyond standard survival protocols, Jennifer observed. What objectives drive your current operations? Diana's explanation revealed the scope of her self-appointed mission and the calculations that drove her systematic elimination of apex predators. Ship AI calculated optimal ecosystem modification for successful colonization, Diana replied. Apex predator elimination required to establish safe zones for intelligent life. Dr. Susan Walsh found herself amazed by the agricultural implications of Diana's work. The botanical Changes across Zarian Prime represented decades of ecological engineering compressed into months. Interventions have unlocked the agricultural potential of this entire moon. Susan said plant diversity and crop yields exceed theoretical maximums. For this climate, Diana nodded acknowledgement of the botanical success, but her expression suggested deeper concerns about her continued existence and enhancement. Systems approaching operational limits. Diana admitted biomechanical integration degrading. Due to combat stress, estimated functional period 6 months maximum. Commander Kate realized that Diana was essentially a living weapon with a limited operational lifespan. The enhanced human had sacrificed everything, including her future, for the protection of others. Amanda Foster studied Diana's biological readings and found evidence of the degradation she described. The extensive modifications were breaking down under the stress of constant combat. Cybernetic systems show fatigue, stress throughout integrated networks. Amanda reported, enhancement technology was never designed for this level of sustained operation. The revelation changed everything about their understanding of the situation. Diana Cross represented the ultimate expression of human determination and sacrifice. She had transformed herself into something beyond human limitations to protect life that could not protect itself. As the team prepared to return to base, Diana remained in the canyon to continue her work. The enhanced human had accepted her role as guardian of Zarian Prime, even though that role would ultimately cost her life. The truth about their mysterious protector had finally been revealed, and it was more incredible than anyone had imagined. A human soldier who had become something new to serve something eternal, the protection of innocent life. The revelation that Diana Cross was their mysterious protector split the Allied forces into opposing camps. Captain Maya Rodriguez faced the most difficult decision of her career, as representatives from 3 species argued about the ethics of Diana's actions. Lirelei Moonwhisper spoke for the Elvish position with passion that reflected centuries of environmental philosophy. The Elvish Ranger believed that interference with natural ecosystems violated fundamental principles of life. Intervention on this scale disrupts the sacred balance of nature, Lirelei argued. Her words carried the weight of Elvish tradition. Natural selection and predator-prey relationships exist for purposes beyond our understanding. Garx, Whisperwind, supported this position with ancient wisdom that predated most galactic civilizations. The Elvish leader saw Diana's transformation as a dangerous precedent for future environmental management. Such radical modification of natural systems invites chaos. The Arxage warned, what begins as protection may become domination over all living things. Ahothal presented the Catherian perspective through her shifting color patterns. The crystalline alien found Diana's efficiency impressive, but worried about the implications for galactic civilization. Collective analysis reveals unprecedented individual impact on planetary ecosystem. Zarathul reported through harmonic tones enhancement of single organism to affect entire world, raises questions about technological limits. Vulnara shared technical concerns about Diana's methods, while acknowledging their effectiveness. The warrior scientist had studied the enhancement technology and found it beyond current understanding. Cybernetic integration achieves results impossible through conventional means. Velnara observed, yet such modification creates being that exists outside natural evolutionary processes. Admiral Rebecca Stone represented the human military perspective and found herself torn between admiration and horror at Diana's sacrifice. The enhanced soldier had achieved mission success through methods that challenged human identity. Major Cross has eliminated strategic threats to colonization efforts. Rebecca stated her military analysis focused on tactical results Diana has accomplished in months what would take conventional forces decades. Dr. Rachel Kim studied the psychological aspects of Diana's transformation and found disturbing implications for human mental health. The behavioral analyst worried about the long-term effects of such extensive modification. Subject displays signs of psychological isolation due to enhanced capabilities. Rachel reported to the command team separation from baseline humanity may result in emotional deterioration. Dr. Amanda Foster examined the biological consequences of Diana's enhancements and discovered alarming evidence of system failure. The xenobiologist found that Diana's modifications were breaking down rapidly. Integration shows accelerating degradation, Amanda announced. Enhanced systems were never designed for sustained combat operations. Biological matrix cannot support current enhancement levels indefinitely. The debate intensified when seismic sensors detected movement deep beneath Zarian Prime. Something massive was rising from the planetary core and heading toward the surface. Lisa Chen analyzed the readings and felt fear grip her scientific mind. The creature approaching from below exceeded all previous measurements for biological entities. Ancient worm emerging from planetary core, Lisa reported with trembling voice. Estimated size comparable to mountain range by readings suggest apex predator. Beyond classification. Commander Kate activated all defensive systems as the impossible creature breached the surface. The ancient worm was a legend, made real, with capabilities that dwarfed every previous threat. Conventional weapons ineffective against target of this magnitude, Kate announced. Armor thickness exceeds penetration capability of all known ordnance. The combined fleets of all three species found themselves helpless against the ancient worm. The creature could destroy entire cities with casual movements, and its hide resisted every weapon they possessed. Diana Cross appeared at the command center through methods that defied security systems. Her enhanced capabilities allowed her to move through solid matter when necessary. Target requires direct engagement, Diana stated. Calmly, ancient worm represents extinction-level threat to all surface life. Maya realized that Diana was the only being capable of facing such a creature. The enhanced human had transcended normal limitations, but the cost of victory might destroy her. Maja, your enhancement systems are already failing, Maya pointed out. Combat with the ancient worm could accelerate the degradation beyond recovery. Diana acknowledged the risk with the same clinical detachment she had shown throughout their encounter. Her transformation had given her capabilities, but taken away her attachment to self. Preservation enhancement failure acceptable if mission parameters achieved, Diana replied. Mission success ensures survival of protected populations. The battle between Diana and the ancient worm spanned continents as the enhanced human engaged the legendary creature. The fight was visible from orbit as two impossible forces clashed across the landscape. Athelion, Starweaver watched the battle with ancient eyes that had never seen such displays of power. The Elvish Ranger found himself forced to reconsider everything he believed about natural limits. In 3 centuries, I have never witnessed combat of this magnitude, Thalion said with awe. Individual, engaging, creature size of mountain range challenges understanding of possible. The ancient worm possessed abilities that seemed to violate physics. Its breath could melt solid rock, and its movements created earthquakes that reshaped the terrain. Diana matched the creature through speed and precision that pushed her enhancements beyond design specifications. Her weapons cut through the Wyram's armor, but each strike brought her closer to system failure. Susan Walsh monitored the ecological impact of the battle and found that even this massive conflict was helping Diana's mission. The ancient Wyram's emergence had disrupted underground predator populations, seismic activity from combat, eliminating deep cave predator species, Susan reported. Diana's engagement serving multiple ecosystem management objectives. The battle reached its climax when Diana achieved a critical strike against the ancient Wyram's neural center. The creature collapsed across multiple valleys, but the effort pushed Diana's systems beyond recovery. Amanda Foster detected massive system failures throughout Diana's cybernetic network. The enhanced human had achieved victory, but at the cost of her remaining operational time enhancement, matrix showing cascade failure across all integrated systems. Amanda reported biomechanical integration approaching complete breakdown. Diana emerged from the battle changed even from her already transformed state. Her cybernetic systems flickered and sparked while her biological components showed signs of extreme stress. Mission parameters achieved, Diana announced to the assembled forces. Apex predator elimination complete. Safe colonization zones established. The three species faced a choice about Diana's future. The enhanced human could not return to normal society, but she had earned the right to determine her own fate. Captain Maya made the decision that would define Diana's legacy. The enhanced human would remain on Zarian Prime as guardian of the new ecosystem. She had created Maja. Cross, your sacrifice has made this world safe for future generations. Maya announced Diana Cross will serve as protector of Zarian Prime colony. Years passed, and the joint colony on Zarian Prime flourished under Diana's protection. Children played safely in fields where massive predators once hunted. The enhanced human watched over them. Diana had become something beyond human, but her actions represented the best of human values. She had transformed herself to protect others, and found peace in that transformation. The legend of the beast, slayer of Zarian Prime, spread across the galaxy as a reminder that humanity could achieve impossible things when driven by the need to protect innocent life. Diana Cross had chosen to become something more than human, in service of something eternal, the safety and happiness of those who could not protect themselves from the darkness.